Hey guys, I'm Amadeo78 from Broken Continuity, and this is Pick It Up, the show where I present a story or trade that I enjoy. Today I'm actually going to talk about some novels, specifically the Wild Card series. The first book was published in 1987, and the next book is coming out this year, 2016. The series is edited by George R. R. Martin and Melinda Snodgrass, both of whom contribute characters. It's a shared world anthology, which means different writers contribute characters, and it's a long list of writers who involved, so I'll just describe it like this. Some of these writers have written for The Outer Limits, The Twilight Zone, Stargate SG-1, Star Trek The Next Generation, DC Comics, and Marvel Comics. Most famously, in 1987, Neil Gaiman approached Martin with the idea for a character. Now, Martin ended up rejecting him. Gaiman went on to write Sandman for DC Comics instead. The series is based on a long-running campaign of the tabletop RPG Superworld. In the game, you roll 7 characteristics with dice, and the sum total of the points is what you use to buy superpowers. However, you can also earn more powers by giving your character disadvantages. The basic premise of the series is this. After World War II, an alien virus is released over New York City and eventually infects tens of thousands of people all around the world. The virus, which is alien in nature, is designed to rewrite DNA and was developed as a bioweapon. It's taken to Earth to be tested on humans, and Dr. Tachyon, a member of the family who develops it, attempts to stop them. In the process, the ship crashes, some criminals are able to obtain it, and it ends up getting released. The virus is designed to give individuals different abilities, however it affects people differently. It becomes known as the wild card because it's basically random and unpredictable. It kills 90% of the people who contract it, and it changes the rest. Of the remaining 10%, 9% are known as jokers, who develop sometimes crippling physical conditions and appearances that are no longer human. 1% are aces, who basically remain human or look human in appearance, but develop superhuman abilities. Some aces have abilities that are just so trivial or so specific that they end up being called deuces, kind of like the power to turn any wood blue. This creates a bunch of interesting themes. Now just consider, for every storm that you get, you end up with 9 other people who are like Nightcrawler or Sauron or Mystique, or maybe just a Glob Herman. Since being a Joker is not based on power but appearance, that means you also get an Apocalypse. The more appropriate frame of reference would probably be, for every X-Man, you get about 9 Morlocks. The area of New York where the virus hits the hardest becomes a slum known as Joker Town. Joker Town is a dangerous and seedy place, but it's also a hotbed of political activity due to the fight for Joker's rights. Another feature of the virus itself is that the changes it brings about are actually subconscious. An example would be that a lot of Egyptian Jokers come to resemble old Egyptian gods. This also means that no 2 Jokers look alike, so it's possible to be an outcast amongst the outcasts. The Wildcard series is a shared universe, which means this. Each writer may write several characters. However, when these characters show up, basically the writer is involved. This means that characters maintain a consistent voice every time that they appear. For instance, one of my favorite characters and one who has the most appearances is Kroy, also known as the Sleeper. Originally infected at the age of 14 when the virus was released in 1946, Kroy fell into a deep coma. When he woke up, he discovered that he was an adult and that he had a weird orange hair on his body and that he could turn invisible. Now his father was also infected, but he died, and his mother basically ended up going insane. So Kroy used his skills to become a thief and take care of his family. Out of all the characters, Kroy has the most interesting expression of the wild card virus, which is also one of the reasons he specifically became a thief. Kroy can only stay awake for maybe a few weeks or maybe a month. However, every time he goes to sleep, he is transformed again. Sometimes he wakes as a Joker, sometimes he wakes as an ace. He's mostly worked as a criminal due to his need to amass large amounts of money. Also, since he's going to eventually go to sleep again, he can't really be relied on to do things that require lots of time. Kroy has also developed the fear that he may wake up with the case of the Black Trump and eventually die, and this is where his character really takes off. Because of this fear, Kroy has developed an addiction to amphetamines, things like speed. This means that when he wakes up, he's a reasonable, logical person who eats a lot. And over time, as he starts to become more sleepy and starts to rely more on drugs to keep him awoke, he becomes paranoid and also sometimes psychotic. Once he woke as a super strong albino with the ability to pass on a new form of the wildcard virus that could infect jokers, aces, or regular people. Due to this, and him relying on the drugs to stay awake and becoming paranoid, he basically ran everyone through a chase across New York City trying to contain him. Other times, he has more lighthearted stories, such as when he gained the ability to duplicate items by touching them and started pirating DVDs. I highly recommend this series. Now I'm going to leave a link to the website, but you can also find a lot of the books on Amazon, and they reissued some of the earlier versions in addition to the newer versions that are still coming out. Anyway, I'm Amadeo78 from Broken Continuity, and this has been Pick It Up. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.